Finally, City pressing the button. We'll find out whether he plays against Tottenham, but he's going to be a City player in Jan.
Yeah, he's going to be a City player now. Formal steps expected to progress after tonight's game against Tottenham Hotspur. Antoine Semenyo himself confirmed yesterday that Antoine Semenyo is available to play tonight, but says that this could be the last time we see him in a Bournemouth shirt. Everything's agreed in principle with City for that £65 million release clause that we've known about for some time. That expires on Friday. And this is a wonderful move for a player that's played all the way through the Football League, League Two, League One, Championship, Premier League. He's now on the verge of joining a Champions League club. It's a fantastic advert for the strength of the EFL as well, and for a wonderful footballer who's got so much talent. But the interesting thing with this is about the timing of it and when he's going to be playing and when he's going to be moving. There was talk about it before Arsenal. Would he play? Would he not? He did. Now there's talk that he's going to play and then have the medical the next day. Now, for me, that surprises me a little bit. Dan, what about you? Are you surprised that City would risk letting him play another game before spending £65 million on him?
I can understand the Arsenal fixture. Obviously, they probably wanted Bournemouth to take points. I'm sure there was some sort of agreement in place with that for Semenyo to play.
Do you think there was? Do you think there was actually an agreement?
I think there was definitely.
We prefer you to play against Arsenal.
Yeah, I think there would have been a discussion about it. Yeah, I think the title race is so important. I think Semenyo is so important to what Bournemouth do, and he's a danger player. So without him, Bournemouth lose a lot. And against Arsenal, obviously, City wants to take points off them. So you need the best players, and they were 100% in a small conversation. But ultimately, I think the agreement was you stay until January the 8th, 10th, until the clause is up, and then you go. So it just so happens there's been a lot of fixtures in that time. And
but what happens if he gets injured tonight?
No, I think tonight is probably a risky one. I mean, no one's sure if he's going to start tonight. We don't know the team. Obviously, Andoni has said he's going to be involved. At what capacity, we don't know. So
you don't think he's going to start, do you?
I'm not sure. I don't actually have any inside information.
Looks like it does, James.
I don't know. I don't know. From a Bournemouth point of view, they need the points, by the way. They need a win. It's a good chance to win the game. So playing Antoine Semenyo from them, if the deal's agreed and the 65 million is going to happen no matter what, then yeah, you play him. But from the player's perspective, I don't think he's been at his best the last two games. I think this move is playing on his mind a little bit. So in a way, Bournemouth might be better with him on the bench and being an impact sub for 20 minutes.
Yeah, we should speak to Molly, shouldn't we? Our Bournemouth fan who's coming to see us this morning. Molly, how do you feel about this? The vultures of stealing another player. You've lost a lot of big players from the Vitality over the last 18 months, and it looks like Semenyo's on his way. How do you feel?
I think we all saw it coming. Maybe not in January, but we expected him to go in the summer. And we know he had talks with other clubs. And then when he signed that 5-year contract with us, that was great. And then the clause came out, and I mean, like Gozza said, he hasn't been his best the last two games. The move's on his mind, but honestly, if you watch him play every week, 'cause he's getting 90 minutes every week, but I think his head was gone long before that. And as a Bournemouth fan, we need to win a game. It's been like 10 games now. Tonight we need a win, and I think if his head's already out of the club, I think we need to start thinking how we're going to move forward, give these other players a chance. If we struggle, maybe bring him on, but we need to try and work without him.
What kind of player do you think Manchester City, if it is going to be City, look like they're going to get?
I mean, he can play anyway. He can do whatever you ask of him, really. That's why he's so great for us. He's a strong player, and for us, he will always score that goal when we look like we're not going to score. And I think that'll be our biggest miss from him, is getting the game going. That's what he does.
It's going to leave a massive hole, isn't it? And the thing is, and Dan, you know this with your old club as well, that they've done very well, Bournemouth, in finding replacements, but there's only so long you can keep doing that, right? I mean, look what you lost last year. You lost pretty much your whole back four, and Kepa, who of course was on loan as well. Replacements, we were talking to Florian Plettenberg in Germany yesterday, that you're maybe looking at a guy called Jamie Leveling at Stuttgart, but whoever it's going to be needs to fill big shoes.
We'll struggle to replace Semenyo, especially in January. I think the summer will be when we get that bigger signing. I think for now, especially looking at our form, we need to fix our defence that's still struggling since, Dino left, Zabani left, Kepa left. I mean, we've just signed a new keeper. we're conceding too many goals. We need to fix that. I think we've got goal scorers in the team. We've got players, you know, that can create goals. We've got creativity attacking. We're not struggling to score goals. But what's costing us points is conceding too many, drawing games that we should be winning, like United. And we need to stop doing that. We need to tighten up and be stronger defensively.
Yeah.
And then I think our problems will be solved.
The form has dropped off a bit of a cliff, hasn't it, from a Bournemouth point of view, Dan? I mean, I remember being at the Etihad, and that night, had Bournemouth won at Manchester City, they would have gone second in the table. That only seems like yesterday, and the winless run has continued. How do you replace someone like Antoine Semenyo?
Just going back, the Premier League is ruthless.
Yeah.
And you can go on runs of 10 games without a win quite easily, and we've done it. And most clubs go through that. The bottom half table clubs go through that a lot, at least one sticky period in the season. It's just the timing of when you do that. That's probably the most crucial part. Bournemouth replacing these players is really difficult. January window especially. Who's out there? I was listening to Kevin Hatchard talking about the player from Stuttgart and
Leveling, yeah,
and he wasn't sure, he wasn't convinced, and he'll know more than me about that European market, but he wasn't convinced. I think it's a danger to compare any new signing to Antoine. He's in his own right. He's done everything himself, and there's not many players that are both-footed, quick, can play anywhere across the front 4 or 5 positions. So he's very unique in himself and his ability.
Who's gone through the divisions, as I was mentioning before, learnt his trade through League 2 standard all the way up to the Premier League, and then about to embark in the Champions League. I wanted to ask Scarlett, as an Arsenal fan, I know Antoine Semenyo's spoken previously about being an Arsenal fan. Are you perhaps a little bit disappointed that City are picking him up? And also, how worried are you as an Arsenal fan with City, Arsenal's nearest rivals, picking up a player of his calibre?
I think from an Arsenal perspective, I feel that if we were in the mix, Semenyo would have been persuaded to join Arsenal. So
like your
I
confidence.
think from that standpoint,
He's an Arsenal fan as well, Scarlett.
He's an Arsenal fan, yeah. So I'm not worried that we missed out on someone. I think he's great. He's both-sided. He would obviously add something to our attack, but in terms of where we are at the moment, with Saka on the right side, he's not going to play ahead of him. I think in a way it would just be selfish, unlike some clubs, to just buy up all the talent. But in terms of City strengthening, I would be more concerned, and I'm sure we'll talk about Guehi, if they went on to really reinforce their defence, because that to me is where I view the advantage between Arsenal and City. Yeah. I think signing Semenyo, is that potentially, are they worried about fatigue? They played the Club World Cup. Obviously Haaland's been incredible. I think Doku's been brilliant too. So I'm interested to see where he fits in that team. And it concerns you always when your rivals are strengthening. I'm sure it will give them a bit of a bounce to have a brilliant new player in the squad, but he doesn't make me nervous. That particular signing doesn't make me nervous.
We're keeping the Katz-Roberts twins apart ahead of the game tomorrow night, by the way.
Sensible move.
Liverpool-Arsenal match, separated by a big camera and the Wolves fan. But Lola, what about Liverpool? Because we don't know what's going to happen with Mohamed Salah. It's gone a bit quiet, all the Salah chat while AFCON's going on, and he's scoring goals out there. Fair play to him. Would you have liked him at Liverpool? He seemed a bit of a tap-in as the heir to the throne.
I think he would have definitely helped us this season. I think he could have come in and definitely started a lot of games for us this season, but I think the future of our front line is so up in the air, and this is going to make it sound like I'm demeaning him. He's a bit of a utility player. There's not one shirt in our front three that you're like, he's going to nail that down for the next 3 years, and that's where we need to be in terms of our planning. We've spent huge money, as everyone's going to remind me, on Ekitike and Isak, and I think actually this might be a good one for us to just step back on and maybe leave the door open for a Bradley Barcola or something in the future.
Oof. Well, talking about Bradley Barcola, talking about Bradley's, what about our Bradley Tooth in the studio, the Manchester United fan? I mean, would you have loved him at Old Trafford? Can you compete with the likes of City and Liverpool for these players now, Brad?
I think it's what got Hammer in the boot, innit? You know, he wanted him at United. Semenyo's a top player. We saw it at Old Trafford a couple of weeks ago. Disappointingly, I was there to see. It was a great game, but ultimately, we're just not at that level at the moment. If somebody else comes along, it's hard to compete. But we need to get back there soon.
Yeah. That's the view of a lot of the Manchester United fans, I think. Well, look, what a night in store tonight. 8 Premier League games, all live for you on Sky Sports. And, of course, you can keep right across all the action with the goals as they go in here on Soccer Special, which starts at 7 p.m. Right, well, could we see Manchester City make a double signing with Mark Guéhi also coming in? Pep Guardiola was very tight-lipped yesterday in his press conference, but admitted that injuries in defence are a major concern for him. Guéhi's current boss, Oliver Glasner, had this to say about his captain's future.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what will happen, and I imagine these injuries can happen. Never know, but what I know, Mark will play tomorrow. I expected he trained, but I don't know what will happen.
Interesting that, James. You've been in a lot of Oliver Glasner press conferences. Were you in that one, by the way?
I wasn't in that one, no.
So normally, especially when he's been asked about Guéhi, he's a bit more defiant. I don't know. What do we read into that from the Austrian?
He's defiant usually in, I don't want him to go. Despite his contract situation, he values him so highly as his captain. He's done a remarkable job with Oliver Glasner since he arrived at the club. But that felt a little bit different. It felt like I don't know what the situation is. And ultimately, Crystal Palace, as a club, have a decision to make in terms of, do they let this player go for free in the summer or do they cash in? They could have got £35 million for him in the summer. That deadline day moved to Liverpool, very close to happening before Crystal Palace pulled the plug. They're probably, you're looking at around maybe £25 million could prize him away.
Which is still a bargain, even though he's a free in the summer.
It feels like it's a bargain, but you're talking about a player with just 6 months left on his contract. But the player's also got a decision to make. Does he want to move to a Premier League club? If he does, then it's down to Crystal Palace, do they want to cash in or not? Or does he see his future abroad and in Europe, and if so, he can sign a pre-contract now. As of right now, there's so much interest, the likes of Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, amongst many of the biggest names in Europe interested in Mark Guéhi. Unsurprisingly, he's no doubt going to be starting for England in the summer at the World Cup as well. An unbelievable talent that he is. So, look, it's one to watch. It's very interesting, but you know, Manchester City weren't planning on doing much in January. Injuries now to Ruben Diaz out for around 6 weeks with a hamstring injury. Josko